This video is for all of you parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, anybody who works with children. This video is going to be for you. If you've ever been responsible for feeding a kid, hopefully you can learn something helpful here. So a lot of times we feel like we have to get kids to eat. Specifically, get them to eat things like vegetables. But I'm here to tell you, you don't have to get them to do that. Our role as the adult is to decide when it's time to eat and what we're going to offer. And I know that sounds pretty simple, but I think it's a good reminder to take that pressure off of it's not our role to get that food into them. We want to help them become happy, healthy eaters on their own and have that confidence built in. The first thing that's going to be huge for kids eating healthy, nutritious foods is going to be modeling. So we as the adults have got to eat those things too and enjoy them. We can't eat them and be like, ugh, yuck. That's not going to help. Modeling that, if you have kids in your life and you're like, oh, I don't feel like they eat enough of this or that, try offering it more often, have it at the meals, make it in a different way, and modeling is going to be very impactful. The other thing that research shows us that's really important is exposure. And exposure isn't them tasting it. It doesn't have to be a taste of the vegetable or whatever foods you're trying to encourage them or interest them in. So exposure could be it being on the plate. Exposure could be them choosing it at the store and helping you prepare it. Exposure might be that it's on the table, not necessarily on their plate. It depends on the kid, right? You're gonna know your kid, the kids you're around the best. Some kids will have a harder time of having new foods in their space, on their plate. So you just work with that where you can. So I want to offer some tips and maybe some new ideas to make vegetables more interesting. So the first thing I'd say is letting them prepare it. You could go with just a regular plastic knife. Depending on the age of the kid, this might not be very exciting. But if you've cooked vegetables, they could easily slice them, chop them. It doesn't matter. If they're touching it and interacting with it, that's an exposure. You could buy some prep knives that are for kids. These are not going to work like regular knives, of course, but they can kind of muscle through a few more foods than this might let them do. But a lot of times you'll find they help prepare the foods and still don't want to try it. But you have done something great there by exposing them to the food. Another thing to keep in mind is changing up how you prepare the foods. You don't have to just steam the broccoli. You could roast the broccoli. You could have raw broccoli if the kid's more into that. Dips, any dips. You could do ranch dressing. You can do ketchup, and that's my 3-year-old's personal favorite. You could do hummus, any kind of dip that might be fun or interesting to them. They may not even take a bite of the vegetable and just lick the dip off. That's fine. They have now interacted with that food, and that's exposure. And we know that after many exposures, kids become more comfortable with foods, and it becomes less scary. Some other things you can do, I have these little toothpicks. You can use regular toothpicks for older kids. They're kind of sharp, but you can also purchase fun little ones. This has a ladybug on it, and they can just eat with that instead of a fork or spoon. Just might be more exciting. You can serve them tiny bowls. These bowls like this, little prep bowls, when I give my kids a soup or a new kind of stew or something that has a lot of mixed different foods in it, I get some pushback sometimes. They're not so excited about it. But if I serve it in something different, maybe something strange, like they love getting served a tiny amount like this. And if they eat it and want more, of course I can give them more. But it's less overwhelming if you give them a small amount. You could also use a little mug. Serve the food in a little mug or a fun little cup. You could put ranch dressing or a dip in the bottom and put the veggies in like that, cooked or not cooked, depending on the age of the child. Little silicone muffin cups have been helpful in my house too. I mean, they're fun colors. Sometimes there's some arguments over who gets what color, but other than that, they're pretty helpful. Some really outside of the box thinking might be you serve dinner in a muffin tin. Maybe you put the different parts of the meal in a muffin tin and they eat it out of that. You're not bribing them, you're not forcing them to eat it. You're just sort of changing the way it looks, where it's maybe less intimidating and a little more fun, because kids like to play and have fun. Which, don't be afraid to encourage them to play a little with the food. If you can stack the vegetables on top of each other, or my 5-year-old loves to do green bean sword fights. So we'll have green beans that are not mushy green beans, obviously they gotta hold up to be sort of sword-like, but he loves that, and it ended up with him going from not eating green beans at all to eating a lot of them so he could have more sword fights. And the last gadget I have here is a Snackle box. So it's food safe, so make sure you're not buying just any old tackle box and putting food in it. You want it to be food safe, but it's essentially a tackle box but made for food. So if I open it up here, this one I can remove the dividers and make a larger space. You can make like an L shape, you could change it up, make it fit what you need it to. You could use this more than just for like packaged snacks or on-the-go snacks. You can use this to encourage fruits, vegetables, any other kind of foods you want. Beans, sometimes beans are hard to get kids to eat. So yeah, you could play around with different ways to enjoy them. So I hope you found a new idea, something that makes mealtime a little more exciting and not stressful when you're trying to get those kids to eat. We just want to make it interesting. So good luck.